do you start Alibaba?
Any Revs UK.
If you asked probably 100 Patriot fans if they followed the New England Revolution, I'd be very surprised if one said yes.
Any Revs UK.
Yes, hello and welcome back to the Any Revs UK podcast here. All things New England Revolution from a UK perspective. Now guys, obviously sorry for the delay on this one. I had recorded it previously and then when I came back to listen to it I realised that the file was corrupted and I've just not really had time to really get back to recording again. So obviously do apologise for the delay, but I've kind of said I'll upload on a Friday, so I'm keeping true to my word. So this now is a Friday late. Obviously we'll get the admin bit out of the way beforehand. Obviously we are over on social media, over the Twitter sphere. If you have got Twitter, make sure you can give us a follow. It's at AnyRevsUK. We are on SoundCloud, YouTube, over on Just Might Play's YouTube channel, and hopefully we'll be up on Apple very, very soon, if not already. And if you are listening via the Apple, I don't know what it's called, then please be sure to leave us a 5-star review and write something nice, because that's what I hear other podcasts say. I think it helps you with the ratings. I'm not too sure though. If you are enjoying what you're listening to and you are on SoundCloud or YouTube, wherever, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. I think we are on Player FM now as well. I think we're up on Player FM, so if you have got Player FM, then make sure you add us into, I think you just search New England Revolution and we should hopefully come up. Right, okay, so in today's episode, we're going to kind of be talking about things coming out of if there's any news coming out of the New England Revolution camp. We're going to be talking about the match, obviously, against Colorado, although it's quite a while ago. Hopefully you guys can remember what happened in that match. We're then going to be going through player-by-player ratings as well. We've got some questions that are coming out of Twitter as well, so if you want to get any questions in for next week's podcast, make sure you just head over onto Twitter and just at me in the questions. I haven't got a hashtag for them just yet. But just go and leave us some questions and I'll be sure to answer them as best as I can. Right, okay. So thoughts, not thoughts about the match, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about any news coming out of the camp at the moment. So really, there's lots of rumblings going on and stuff in New England as such, with the general managers and stuff like that kind of thing. That's been consistent now for quite a while, so it's not new news coming out of the camp. Obviously, a lot of fans are displeased with the ownership. We want to move grounds, and this came. I've never been to a game, and I don't think I will ever go to a game in my lifetime. But watching the New England game live, it's I don't know what I mean. People seem to be, from what I've gathered, that 13,000 people at the last game isn't far off kind of what we do get. And the noise was really good that was being generated from the fort. Were as loud as possibly can be. But for me, if you were a professional football player and you went out to play in that huge stadium, and I know obviously we're not meant to fill it. That's not what it's there for. It's for the Patriots. But you're playing on a huge platform with this huge stadium, and to see empty sections and seats and rows, and it just must sometimes play on the player's mind. So I think it's got, for me, we really just need to get our own ground. We can't, if that ground was suitable and we were filling it, or at least, getting close to filling the ground for most matches, it would be ideal, but we're not. I mean, to look at the differentiation here, I think it was Columbus, they had the lowest attendance last week. I think, obviously, in New England, they've had a bye week now, so, but the week against Colorado, I think, we had 13,000. I think Columbus just had shy of 12,000. Then you've got Atlanta, brand new franchise last year, that have got, was it 74,000 or something ridiculous? I mean, that is ridiculous. The spread in the top. This is the top tier of American soccer. The top tier. You wouldn't find that pretty much, or very rarely, the spread from 74 down to 11.5, nearly 12,000 in any other league system. And then you've got teams that own the second tier, as you would of the American soccer system. They've got no way of getting promoted, but yet they might have a bigger fan base, like Cincinnati. It's not like the people from New England who support the Patriots. I bet it's a very minuscule percentage will actually follow New England Revolution. Like for me, New England, they are my city. New England as a whole, So it's Patriots as such in NFL. I've mentioned this before. Revolution, Boston Celtics, Boston Bruins, Pittsburgh Penguins. What else is there? What other sport is there? Boston Red Sox. They're all the kind of teams that I kind of follow. But if you asked probably 100 Patriot fans if they followed the New England Revolution, I'd be very surprised if one said yes. So there's a bigger kind of thing that's happening with New England, and I think that I don't know how it works over there, but really the fans need to make themselves heard as loud as they can really on this one, because you've got to think that the players have got to be going into that match and just looking around and thinking, we're not. It just must be so demoralising to not see that the fans aren't supporting them, because it's pretty much, from what I can gather, the same numbers coming each week. So we're getting a good support, but the ground is just too big. You need a 20,000 seater stadium with expansion to be able to maybe 35 or something like that in the future if it does start getting bigger and better and that kind of thing. But at the moment, if we're kind of averaging 13,000 in a 90,000 seater stadium that we use, I don't even know how much it can hold, but it's ridiculous, and it's going to be a little demoralising. So there's kind of that's not really come out. There's no real massive news come out of the camp that I've kind of really want to talk about or know too much about. So I don't want to go off and start talking about things that I just have no clue about. We have signed a player. We've signed Luis Casido, 21-year-old Colombian. Looks like he's a very good player. Plays as a defensive midfielder, and somebody's asked me a question about this later, so I'm not going to talk too much about. Obviously, in addition to another central midfielder. But yeah, he looks very much like he's fitting that Brad Friedel mould of player now. He's very athletic, very hard working, got, kind of runs around a lot and seems to not, get fatigued as such. So it does look like he's kind of fitting that Brad Friedel mould. And then other than that, I mean, there's the talk of Lee Win. I mean, Montreal now, who I think were potentially one of the clubs that we're looking at bringing in Lee Win. They've now signed, I think it was Andres Silva and Alessandro Silva, possibly. I'm not too sure. They've signed A Silva, one of the many Silvers out there. So now that looks like that's kind of a very similar mould player to what Lee Win is, or we're playing very similar positions. So it looks like that's probably getting in the water now. We have seen videos surface of Lee Win in the training camp now, kind of laughing and joking with Andrew Farrell. Obviously, they've been teammates for quite a while now. Some people have on social media have been saying, I think this looks, slightly, why the team kind of embraced him as such. And I don't think it's the team as such. I don't think that's the case. I think that Andrew Farrell's probably been around the team for a long time. So is Lee Win. They probably know each other quite a while, and I'm presuming there's probably no hard feelings between them two as such. There's got to be that kind of maybe that thing of thinking, why would you want to leave the club? I love this club. Yeah, maybe a bit of tension there, but they could have talked that out. Obviously, we don't know kind of any other further past the thing, so I don't think it's untoward or unusual. I think they've been at the club for a long time together, and they probably get on quite well. So I think that's what we're seeing there in terms of that. So we'll kind of now just go over to my thoughts, obviously, on the performance of the Revolution against Colorado. Obviously, we start off the fact that obviously New England won, so obviously that was massive, huge 3 points in the bag. Obviously, kind of hopefully going to build on that. I think it was 12 games last season of going 12 wins at home, which was huge. It was obviously just our away form which let us down. Hopefully, we're going to improve that this season though. But in terms for me, for the first half was from both teams, New England and especially Colorado, was just so uninspiring. It was just a drab affair, lackluster. Colorado just didn't look like they wanted to attack. They just wanted to look like they were kind of more than happy to kind of sit back and disrupt our attacking play. Plenty of men behind the ball, and then when they get the ball, it looked like they were playing on a counter to me. It looked like they were trying to sit back, soak up the pressure, and then hit us on the break. They had a lot of very fast players, and they kind of kept trying to target the same route, between Anibaba and Farrell in the central defence, obviously a makeshift central defence partnership. They kind of just looked to exploit that. We'll kind of talk about my player ratings a little bit later and how I thought they dealt with that. But yeah, for me, that's kind of what I like. And New England kind of looked a little bit tentative to me. They didn't really look like they were they were up for it. They were getting the ball into decent positions, working the ball really well. I think there's nice patient play, and then a few good killer balls into certain channels. Then it kind of looked like there was no real urgency to score a goal. It was almost too patient build up, too patient play. Not really looking for the kind of clinical finish at the end. It was not, they weren't really having any shots on target or shots at all, or even off target to kind of at least let them know that we're there. So for me, it kind of just it was almost like defence versus attack in training, but there was no real clinicalness from New England. So yeah, it wasn't overly impressed, to be fair. Went in at half time. Obviously, it was 0-0. We've kind of seen videos surface now of what Brad was said to the team. He wants them to go out there and be dangerous in attack, and that kind of obviously was true from the off. Obviously grabbing a goal, go Diego, go. Love the song choice from Diego there as well. Lovely run from Pinilla down the left hand side. Cut inside, and it's very, very unselfish of Pinilla here, because there's an opportunity. He'd done this run, done all kind of the hard work by himself. Kind of cut inside. He had the opportunity to kind of pull the trigger. It'd be quite hard to beat the keeper, potentially near post. So he did the right thing, popped his head up, seen Diego arriving into the box, laid a lovely pass to him, and Diego's finish was very composed through the legs of the veteran that is Tim Howard, one of the most politest men in football. And obviously very well worked goal. And coming out of the camp from that, the fact that Diego said that him and Pinilla have been linking up really well in training. They do kind of try to look for each other as in training as much as they can, because they do seem to, almost starting to learn each other's game quite quickly. They can kind of read when what kind of run they're going to do, and so on and so forth. So that seems a massive positive step forward for the fact that they're linking up quite well already this early on into their kind of attacking partnership relationship. Then obviously from that though, obviously we took the lead, and we was kind of hoping now we wouldn't just sit back. We kind of needed to get. As Friedel I think said at one point, it might have been Calderwell. If I think it was Friedel that if they get the second, then we need to go for the third. We need to kill them off. There's no relentless. Just keep going for it. You don't just score a goal and sit back and think, oh well, we're ahead now. We've got this. You need to keep going at them, keep piling the pressure on to hopefully make them slip up again and score another goal. For me, it didn't look like we did that. We did look like almost we scored the goal. A lot of weight was lifted off the players' shoulders. They did kind of almost relax a little bit more there. That led to the fact that Ali Barbar gave away a spot kick, and luckily for us, Turner with a huge save. He thanked his goalkeeping coach afterwards for showing him videos, obviously on the penalty takers from Colorado. They talked through where they think it would hit him, but he just openly admitted, the fact that yes, watching the videos is great. Kind of gives you an aspect of where they have been hitting their penalties and where they're most confident at. But he said on the day, it is just about, if you do what your gut tells you and go for it 100%. Because if you could go, we've seen so many times where keepers have gone the right way, but they haven't gone, 100%. They've kind of gone, I won't dive fully just in case, if they go the other way, I might be able to save it with my feet. But he's gone full 100% to that right hand side. His right hand side, and he's pulled off a huge save. And then, to be fair, the lad who the ball rebounded back to the penalty take, I'm really sorry, I can't remember his name. The ball kind of was just slightly in front of him. His feet weren't quite in the right position. He did skyrocket it over the bar, obviously much to the New England Revolution's relief. Other things obviously that happened in the match was obviously Somi getting kind of killed within the first 16 minutes. I did see a lot of people on social media as soon as it happened, and even after the game, watching it back again, saying that the player should be reprimanded afterwards. From my point of view, obviously watching European football, a lot of European football, to be fair, even I watch English, German, French, Spanish, Gibraltarian. I watch quite a lot of different variants of football, right, even like that down to the lower leagues in English system as well. I don't think, for me, I don't know, probably not a lot of Revs fans will like me for saying this or agree with me, but I don't think it wasn't a red card on the day, and I don't think it should be a red card afterwards. It shouldn't be reviewed and then be turned into a red card, because both players were running for the ball. It was a horrible accident. I don't think he swung it, for me, from what I've seen, I don't think he swung an elbow. I don't think he went in there with any malice or trying to hurt Somi. I think it was just an unfortunate event. yes, potentially he was late. He was maybe not too considerate of the whole, situation. So maybe it was a yellow card, but I don't think, as I said, it was done with any malice. I don't think he did it on purpose. Obviously, news coming out of the camp now that Somi was back in light training, non-contact training for a few days, and now he kind of seems to be getting back on his feet. He's not sustained any, head injuries as such. Headaches have gone. It was just a concussion. So the right precautions were taken there, 100%. It looks like the player is back on the mend, but will he make the squad for the next game? Obviously, we'll reveal my kind of predicted lineup a little bit later on in the episode. Chris Tierney coming up with the goal. The player, the man, the myth, the legend is Chris Tierney, coming up biggest when he needs to as well. Standing tall, taking that free kick. What I liked, though, out of this whole thing was the fact that you seen Fundunges, Diego, grab the ball, and everyone thought, this, probably looks maybe like it is more Diego's territory. Possibly he could hit it with his right foot, bend it, but kind of back out towards the top left-hand corner of the goal. Maybe he got the ball, looked like he was set to take it, and then Chris Tierney said at the post-match interviews that Diego said looked at where Tim Howard was positioned, and he said, I think this is yours. This is yours from just looking at where the keeper's standing. That he passed the free kick duties back to Tierney and said this suits you better than it suits me, which I thought was massive. Diego had already scored a goal. He could have got his name in spotlights for winning the match himself. Who knows what's going to happen? But he looked at what is best for the team here. I think that you're the best option for this free kick. Handed over responsibilities. Obviously, it took a deflection. Would it have gone in without the deflection? Who cares? It took the deflection and it went in. For me, I don't know. It's a really hard one to judge. I've watched it a few times, like most people have, tens of times, and yes, it potentially could have been creeping in off the post. Potentially, it also could have hit the post plumb on and came back out for a rebound. So who knows? But it doesn't matter. It went in. So who even cares? Colorado, obviously, between the Diego goal and obviously Tierney's goal, Colorado did grab one back, and it was actually a really well worked goal and did kind of exploit some of our frailties, as I mentioned, and the kind of speed of our defensive back line. But it was a very well weighted pass as well. Really lovely ball into the box from the left hand side, from their right hand side, sorry. In behind the two defenders, and Turner potentially could have done better for that one as well, in my opinion. But we'll come on to that when I'm giving the ratings out very shortly. But other than that, I think that the whole team did really well. Well, not that well, because the first half performance was pretty drab, but the second half performance was really really positive. Took a lot of positives out of the game. Zahibo again and Caldwell looked really good in that kind of midfield partnership. Brandon Boy was very impressive. Lots of really good positives to take out of that, and kind of talking about positives to take out of that, we'll kind of now just quickly delve into what I kind of thought of the players and gave them their ratings. So as ever, we'll kind of start from goalkeeper and work our way through the team, and then talk about substitutions, all that kind of good stuff as well. So Turner, massive, huge save. I've given him an 8.5. Communication, for me, it seemed like a massive improvement. It seems to be building within confidence with every game. He's getting picked above Cody and above Brad. What happens with Cody now? He wasn't on the bench again. It was Brad. So people are saying is Cody third choice now? I can't really see it. Unfortunately, I do see Brad Knighton as our third choice goalkeeper, I think. But at the moment, why would you drop Matt Turner? He's not done anything wrong. Maybe he was a little bit at fault for the goal. I don't think he was put in a bad predicament again. He could have came out and collected and made himself big in front of the oncoming attacker to kind of put him off a little bit more. But again, he probably shouldn't have been put in that predicament in the first place. So he was slow to come off his line for that one. But obviously that huge penalty save kind of dragged it back up to an 8.5. And as I said, his communication through his back four, he was a lot more vocal. Does really seem to be growing into the role now of being first choice goalkeeper. Right back, we started with Brandon Boy. He actually had a 75% possession. 75% pass completion out of 27 passes. First start, obviously, and a home debut in the MLS as well. Really good contributions going forward. Looked very solid. His crossing definitely needs to be worked on, though. He's not really got that kind of final ball, and he took 3 shots, which was the second highest, obviously, of the New England Revolution team. They're all pretty wayward, but I kind of like the fact that he's got that. He's getting into the right positions now. He's kind of seeking out little pockets as he's kind of going down that right hand side. He's getting into good positions, and he's actually got the he's got the confidence about himself that he's hitting them shots, not on target, but he's taking shots, which I did quite like. Obviously, you can work on that in training. Again, he's only young, but a really, really impressive debut. I've given him a 7.5. As I said, overall, offensively really good, and obviously the fact he kind of worked up and down defensively that line all day. Again, defensive work, he wasn't really put under too much pressure, but when he was called upon, I think he definitely did not do anything to make us warrant him not starting there again. Andy Barbar will move on to centre. His anticipation was really, really good throughout the whole game. Aerially, he was really, really strong as well, very strong in the air. And the fact, obviously, he's almost our third choice centre back, and to be called upon to be in an unfamiliar central back partnership, it must have been quite daunting. First home game of the season, with a makeshift back four as such. It's going to be quite daunting. I think he just handled the situation really, really well. He had a really, really high pass average as well. He had 71% pass accuracy, out of 41 passes. So again, another really huge performance. Gave him a 7.5. I think he didn't really put too much wrong. Other than obviously giving a penalty away, that was slightly sloppy and poor defending. But other than that, I think he's gave Brad a headache now, because for me, you've got your centre back partnership now. You've got Claude and you've got Tony. They were pretty much nailed on at the start of the season. They've both now had disciplinary issues. We've got an option now to play them both in the next game. But do you start Andy Barbar? Do you start him? For me, why would you drop him? After the performance he put in against Colorado, didn't really do too much wrong, did what he was called upon, very strong, in the air, anticipated things really, really well. I don't think he's nailed on anymore. The two players have kind of put themselves in a fight now for that second spot for me. I don't know why for me, they don't both just jump back into the starting team. I think it's Andy Barbar and somebody else now, and that's up to obviously to Friedel to choose. I think it's not as straight as Andy Barbar comes back out and Claude and Tony go straight back in. That's just how I feel. I don't know what your opinion is, guys. If you've got an opinion, leave it down in the comment section on SoundCloud, on YouTube, or over on Twitter. We then move over. Andy Farrell, partner him. I've given him a 6.5. Good, pass accuracy, 75% from him. He actually did much better. I've not actually seen him really play much centre back, but I've heard very bad things. But he did actually better than I thought he would do. He was exposed for the goal, and his pace quite a few times he did get caught on his heels, so he wasn't facing the right way. Again, you kind of think from a defensive point of view that he would, I know he's not naturally a centre back, but being a defender as such, his experience should have taught him that they're going to play balls around over the top and around the back. So getting caught on his heels quite a few times, that was slightly annoying, but he still he formed admirably. I said I've given him a 6.5. He was at fault for the goal, in my opinion, the Colorado goal. But other than that, it didn't really do that bad at all. He was, quite a decent performance from Farrell. Does he? I don't think he doesn't start there again for me. And potentially he doesn't start right back now, because Brandon Boyd did have a pretty impressive game. So I think there's a tough choice there of where we go in terms of, does Farrell make the 11 in the next match? I think he does make the 18, but maybe not the 11. Somi, obviously not applicable. Although, to be fair, the 15 minutes or whatever he did play, I thought he looked quite, he looked like he understood the role a little bit better than before, but you can't really judge him much because it was 15 minutes of the game. But yeah, it looked like he was finding his defensive position much better, wasn't going forward as much. But him and Pania did look like they were combining quite well, to be fair, to begin with. But as I said, obviously his kind of home debut was cut short with that horrible collision. Tyranny, I've given him a 9. It was maybe an 8, but obviously that goal just dragged that up to 9 on a legend. Not the best pass accuracy, 68%, but again, him and Pinea did actually link up really, really well. There's lots of obviously pressure down. It seemed that Colorado were trying to attack down their right hand side more so. Tierney probably did have the more defensive duties than Bai to do. But he soaked it up really, really well, defended really, really well, attacked at the right times as well. I think he's got that part down to his game. He kind of knows when to go forward, especially, he's not the fastest player. So he knows kind of when he can go forward and maybe not get caught out of position. But yeah, just he did what he needed to do in the game, did it all well, and scored in the last minute with a lot of pressure was put onto his, onto his shoulders. And it's great that we've got a player that we can turn to in them kind of moments, and he can keep himself composed and pluck the ball into the net just as he's supposed to. In front of him, then we had Zahibo, 7.5 for me. I think he is becoming, a pivotal piece. I know some people still don't like him. I think his distribution was better this match. He was in the right place at the right time a lot of the time. I think the only criticism I can kind of maybe give it to him is that he just seems he's very quite direct with his passing. And he does look forward a lot, which is great. We want players to look forward and attack. But sometimes with that defensive midfield role, you really kind of should start watching Kante and Pirlo and players that have played in a similar kind of role as such. And going sideways, while sometimes it isn't the prettiest, but sometimes it is the right option. There is sometimes you might see they go for that. They think this pass here, it's going to look good on TV. But then it doesn't come off, and then we can see the goal. That doesn't look good. So just look to the side sometimes. You've got Bai in a lot of space on the right. You've got Samuel Tierney on the left. You've got Scotty just to the side of you sometimes, or just in front. Sometimes you've got Diego pulling in, or somebody's playing Cam. They're coming short for the ball, and we're always kind of looking to the wings, which I said is great. Sometimes there is space there, but it's not always about passing forward in football. So, but I've got to give him a 7.5. I do think I can definitely see the potential in him. I can see why Brad's brought him in, and I think he's going to be huge for the club this season. Then we have his partner, Scotty Calderwell, captain, fantastic. No, he wasn't fantastic. He was good though. First time captaining his home club. Obviously, must have been a massive, massively emotional time really for him. I suppose it was, as I said, it's his home club, club he's played for forever, and to captain them at Foxborough must have been huge. So I think he did really well. Looked like he's more vocal than usual. Solid performance. Didn't really put too much. He didn't really put a foot wrong. Knew when to go back. Knew when to stay. Go forward. Ran around like a lunatic for pretty much the 90 minutes as well. So can't really say anything. He put a foot wrong. He got a 77% pass accuracy as well out of 34 passes. That was really, really good. I think that was the best in the whole team. I think Zahibo was just behind him on that one. So them two, the distribution was good. And out of 10 duels, he won 6 of them as well. So in defensive wise as well, he put in a solid performance. So that's the reason why Scotty Caldwell gets an 8. Diego. Go Diego, go. Joint with 9 as well. Him and Tierney got 9s from me today. We got a 76% pass accuracy as well out from 23 passes. I kind of mentioned in the last podcast that I thought he needed to work on his strength because he seemed to get pushed to the ball a lot more. I don't know what he's been eating over that week between the matches, but he looked a lot stronger. He wasn't getting shoved off the ball enough, so I'm presuming maybe the coaches have noticed that from the videotape that they would have been reviewing throughout the week. They've told him, you need to be a lot stronger and just hold off the ball. A lot more composed as well when he's on the ball. Got into really, really good spaces as well. I wasn't really too sure because obviously we started kind of Rowe out on the right and Diego in the centre. I would have naturally swapped them too. But I think Diego actually did really, really well in that position. He kind of knew, I don't know, he must have been playing there a lot in training. Obviously, I know he's played there a bit in pre-season as well, but he must be playing there a lot in training and watching tape and all that kind of stuff because he just seemed to be in good positions, free for a lot of time as well. People didn't always use him, but he was free a lot of time. So yeah, very, very impressed with Go Diego Do's performance, goal, and the song choice as well. Kylan Rowe played obviously kind of out on the right. For me, kind of was, I was babbling on about, I don't know why Rowe didn't start. He has to start the next game. So obviously I was really pleased when I seen his name on the team sheet. But for me, he didn't really live up to kind of what I was hoping I'd see from him. Obviously, we've seen much better performances from him, and I know for sure that we will see much better performances from Rowe in the future. I don't think the right of midfield is his strongest position. His crossing was not too good, to be fair. A lot of wayward crosses, which lost his possession of the ball in good opportunities, and he kind of really struggled. His passing wasn't terrible on the ball passing, but he did seem to really struggle to get involved in the game. There's a good kind of 15 minutes in the game when I completely forgot that he was even on the pitch. So it's never good when you're watching a football game and you completely forget that somebody gets the ball until their name is kind of mentioned by a commentator or you see them on the ball and I'm like, oh, I forgot Rowe was actually even on the pitch. I gave him a 7 because I think you can kind of see that it was a 6.5. But I didn't want to be too harsh on him. I do really like him. I know he's going to see better things from him. Just quite a bad game for him, and hopefully it's one of very few. Christian Pinilla out on the left hand side, 8.5 from him. He got 76% pass completion from 20 passes as well. He's fast, isn't he? He's a very fast player. Looked really composed as well throughout the whole match. Got good anticipation as well. I noticed he was dropping back really deep when he needed his kind of do his defensive duties. When these defensive duties were called upon, he was tracking back. Him and Tierney, as I said, worked well together. So yeah, I think it doesn't really matter because obviously from when he played with Samey as well, it just seems that he kind of knows he's growing into the role now. He kind of knows what's expected of him, and he's looking like one hell of an acquisition. So hopefully we can kind of get the rights to obviously get him signed up at the end of his loan move. Teal Bunbury. Teal Bunbury reminds me a little bit of Dirk Kuyt, who used to play for Liverpool. I suppose most people know him from his Liverpool days. He runs. He's got great work rate, but he's not the best player, is he? I'm still not 100% sold on what Brad's seeing different to what I'm seeing. Obviously, he's not a bad football player by any stretch of imagination. I'm just not too sure why he's getting in the starting 11 each time. I did say in the last podcast that I think he played better when he went up top. So I thought, this is his opportunity now. He's got to seize this. He's been given an opportunity to pretty much be our main striker. Agudelo didn't have the best of matches. Obviously, yes, we played with 10 men and then 9. So wasn't really given the best opportunity to showcase what he can do. But this was a huge chance. First home game of the season. You've been selected as our number 1 striker, our main focal point up top. So this is it, Teal. This is your chance to shine. And for me, he just did not grab that opportunity with both hands, with one hand. I've given him a 7 just for the work rate alone. He's just not clinical in front of goal. He does actually get himself into okay positions as well and receives the ball. And he's not too bad at holding the ball up. But the kind of final product of turning and shooting, I don't know. He's not a striker. I don't know what he is, but I don't think he's a striker. I don't know. So I don't know where Bunbury fits in at the moment for me, but he had an opportunity to kind of showcase what he can do, and for me, he didn't do it. Obviously, we kind of spoke about Tierney because obviously that was a substitution, but he kind of came on quite early. Nemeth came on. He had about 20 minutes in the game. We actually looked a little bit more creative when Nemeth came on for Rowe. I kind of remember Nemeth, full 20 minutes, whereas I only probably remember 20 of Rowe's minutes for the whole match. So yeah, I've only given him a 6 because he didn't really have much time to do anything, but I do think we look creative. I do think that because Agudelo as well, he came on with like less than 10 minutes to go, and I'm not too sure that I don't know if it was bad communication or what, but he didn't really seem to know who was playing where, because you kind of think that maybe Agudelo would go up top and Nemeth to the left, but they didn't. Agudelo went to the left, but then they kind of was in the same position at some points together, both up top or both on the left. So a little bit of communication error there, but they both did okay. Agudelo, came on, looked a little bit more of a threat. He actually had the same amount of shots in his 10 minutes, I think, than Bunbury did for the whole 80 minutes of the game. So I don't know what that says about Bunbury, but Agudelo didn't really have time to do anything. But he still, I think, he put in an okay performance. He did what kind of he was asked to do, and we're seeing the game out. Overall, we had a 53% possession, and we actually had 72% accuracy out of 417 passes, which I think isn't too bad at all. Right, okay, so that's kind of me running down obviously what I thought of the match and obviously player ratings. So I'm going to move on to a few questions that have been asked of me over on the social media. At Reving Mad over on Twitter asked me if I had any insight into the player from Fulham. Now, obviously, this was quite a while ago, remember? So, so Lucas de la Toure, not sure. He's a 19-year-old American. Obviously, he's at Fulham at the moment. He actually joined Fulham in 2013 from the San Diego Surf franchise. He's actually only played a handful of games for Fulham. I believe it's kind of six for the first team now. He's been predominantly, obviously, in their kind of reserve under 23s team. He's a very, very skillful player. I actually think he would suit the Revolution style of play really well. Can play central midfield or the right of midfield as well. He was actually part of the CONCACAF champion under American under 20s team as well. So he's got international experience. He's got that winning mentality. I think a loan move is definitely best for him. I don't, he's getting a decent, decent amount of football at Fulham, but obviously it's not top league. It's not playing week in, week out at the highest level. He's, if the New England Revolution was taken on loan, he would be getting, I think he'd get into the 18 most weeks, and he's going to be getting, probably more first team football than he would do obviously at Fulham. So I think it's a good move for him. I don't think Revs buying him would be the best for the player at this moment in his development. Because again, I don't know how much game time he would get at Revolution, but I do think obviously coming on loan, I do think he would get more first team game time than he would be getting at Fulham. The second question, I only had two questions this week, but two questions is better than none. At least I've got some friends out there. Came from Adam McGee, and he asked me, crowded midfield, what do we do? Now this is kind of why I didn't talk too much about Casido kind of at the top of the hour, and that was purely because from my point of view, we don't have a crowded midfield. I know that sounds probably strange. So this. Let me just break this down for you. Let me kind of make you understand how and why I'm saying this. So for me, defensive midfield and central midfield are two different positions, and I think that's what we've got at the moment. There's talk of obviously Kofi coming back as well. I think that might be gone away by the time of this podcast going up. But if say for example, even if you take him out of the equation as such, I think we possibly do need somebody else. Because let me write this down for you. We'll call the position that Zahibo plays, the defensive midfielder, as a 6. Caldwell, we'll call him the central midfielder at the 8, because I think that's what they do. So for me at the moment, when you look at them two positions, we're classing them as two separate positions because they both don't play the same. Zahibo and Caldwell, they won't interchange. You won't see Caldwell doing what Zahibo does as such, and you won't see Zahibo do what Caldwell does. There are two different roles in the team. Zahibo plays as a defensive midfield. Caldwell plays more as a box-to-box, midfielder. I'd say Zahibo's a ball-winning midfielder, sits in front of that back four, mops up. Caldwell is a box-to-box midfielder. He kind of plays more central, as a central midfield player, not defensively minded as such, because he knows he's got Zahibo there. But then you go into the depth of the squad, and what is left? So if Zahibo gets injured, technically, Kofi, if we were to sign Kofi, would be his natural replacement, or Kofi would start. He gets injured, Zahibo steps in. We've got two options. Central midfield, you've got Caldwell at the moment. Yes, there is other young players out there, but you've pretty much got Scotty Caldwell. You've got that young lad Zachary, can't pronounce his surname. And you've got other academy players as well. But you've not really got, and you've got Rowe who potentially can play there. But you've not really got a player which I think where Casido comes in. I think Casido is Caldwell's backup, pushing Caldwell for his place. And then you've got Zahibo, who he needs now somebody to push him for that defensive midfield, which is why potentially Kofi might come back, or we might be looking at another player. But for me, the Lucas de la Toro player, he's not a defensive midfielder, he's more of the Caldwell type. So to bring him on loan and obviously having Casido now, that's 3 players in one position. I think obviously having 2 at any one starting point is ideal for the club. And we're kind of getting that at the moment. We've got 2 right backs, 2 left backs. We've got 3 real central defences, so maybe we need another defender. I think with Casido and one more defensive midfielder, very similar to Zahibo as such, that's the midfield done. Attacking wise, I think we're fine. That's kind of, left, right, and central attacking midfield roles. Strikers, yes, people are saying we've got 5, we've got 7, but when you look on paper, when you see David Villa, Carlos Vela, the what's his name, Wodowski, I don't know what his name is. These are players who are proven goal scorers in the MLS. Players that are going to kind of put fear into defences. Teal Brumbury isn't that player. Agadello could be, but we need a striker that's going to set fear into the defenders' hearts. And at the moment, I don't think we haven't got that. So for me, defender, another defensive midfielder, an out-and-out defensive midfielder, and a proven goal scorer is where I think we need to go. So I don't think we've actually got a crowded midfield. That's my answer, and that's my breakdown on why. Right, okay. I'm just going to go through my really quickly. Predictions, obviously, on the game we're welcoming, obviously, New England City. It's going to be a tough match, but I believe they're struggling with a few key players out at the moment as well. I think they've got potentially 3 or 4 players from their starting 11 as such. But obviously they've got pretty decent depth as well. Obviously, it all depends on David Villa, if he's in the team, and if he performs to the level he can do. That's going to be hard to tame. The lineup for me goes Turner, Boy at right back, Tony and Annie Barbar central back partnership. We've got Tierney at left back, so I'm not too sure of Somi's condition. Zahibo and Caldwell as the defensive midfield partnership. We've then got Pania on the left, Diego in the centre, because I think he did really well. Right midfield, I don't really know. Do not get angry with me. I just think he's possibly could give an opportunity. Lee Winnart on the right, and then we're going to start with Agadello up top. Obviously, Lee Win I'm not too sure about. I think potentially if Nemeth could possibly come in there. I'm not too sure how well he plays on the right though, but I think if you've got a left-footed player out on the right, he can cut in more. So it gives us a different kind of option down that right-hand side, but still not set on that one. But yeah, that's my lineup, and I'm going for a New England Revolution 2-1 win as well. We'll go. Actually, no, we'll go 2-0. I'm going to believe in Turner in this match. 2-0 to the Revolution, and I'm going for an Agadello and Pania. Agadello and Pania to score. You heard it here first. Revolution 2, New York City 0. Turner with a clean sheet. Right guys, that wraps up today's episode. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you haven't, don't forget to hit the subscribe, the bell. I don't know what you're listening to it on. Just make sure you come back for the next one. And yeah, that wraps it up guys. Hope you have a good weekend and stay safe.